Hey, Steve Stine from Guitar Zoom here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today what we're going to be doing is looking at the new piece of software. It's a new app for iOS from Positive Grid. It's the Bias Effects 2 Mobile. Okay, now with this, what they've done is there's all new amps and effects, upgraded sound engine, guitar match is now in the app itself. There's a looper, there's a LiveView, which I'm going to show you, and then of course the ToneCloud. So we're going to break down each one of these things, and I don't want to take a lot of your time, but we're going to go through each one of these things and see all the new features, see how things sound, see how you can use the looper and such, and let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing you're going to see here is the user interface, which looks awfully similar, but we see there's some new things here. But the first thing I wanted to do is just show you, I'm going to tap around here. Okay, so what I'm in is the user bank here. I made a couple of things right before I started this video so I wouldn't waste too much of your time here. So, for instance, if I go to the Crunch Plexi, what I did was I went to the free here and grabbed the clean starter. And then I took that and then just added some effects to it and renamed it the Crunch Plexi. Okay, so what you can do when you're in here, okay, you can click on any of the elements and it'll pull up a bigger screen of it so you can see what it looks like. And then over on the right hand side, I know you can't really see it with my finger here obviously, but it says effects, and then next to it it says add, and then next to that it says replace. So if you wanted to change out this amp, you could go to replace and click that. And then all of a sudden you've got all of these other amps in order. You've got low gain, crunch, high gain, acoustic, and bass. So you could choose something else that you want to switch that out to. Now I want to leave it as it is because this is the tone that I've got right now, which is just a great kind of, which is one of my favorite kind of tones from the Positive Grid. It's just these great kind of crunchy tones. And then what I did was I added in a delay and a reverb. And basically what I want to show you again, I'm just going to tap on the delay and notice how I can just move it around wherever I want it to go. You see that? So the user interface is really, really easy. Okay, let's say I didn't want that reverb. What I can do is I can click delete down here on the far right hand side and it'll pull it right back out. And if I hit add, let's say I want to add a reverb back in. So I go back, I'm going to click on digital reverb. And then that pops up, and it's going to kind of put it wherever it does. If it hadn't put it at the end of the chain, you know, I could put it here if I wanted, or wherever it is I'd like to put it. But I'm going to put it at the end just for now. And then I want you to see here too, right now it's set for plate, okay? There's plate, hall, chamber, okay? And room all the way over here. Let me come around this way. Right there. Okay, so I'm going to put it on plate. I've always really liked the sound of the plate here. And they just have a little bit in the background. Again, all I have to do is just lift it up or down and decide what I want. You know, I touch my iPad and kind of adjust it as needed. Maybe I'll slow that time down a little bit. So that's about it. That's how easy the user interface is to kind of choose whatever it is you like. Let me go to the metal one here. I'm going to ignore saving the changes I just did. So like right here, what I did was I have a drive in there and I brought the drive down a little bit. And then what I did with these is it had a bit too much distortion. This was just another stock sound. So I dropped the gains down on them and then brought the presence up just a little bit. And again, it's got a great tone, which I, of course, would expect from the Positive Grid stuff anyway. So it's very easy. The user interface is very easy. It's got a lot of great sounds. And we're going to look at more sounds and more options that you have in just a little bit as well. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is guitar match. Now this is something that I did a demo on the PC version quite a long time ago, but if you look down toward the bottom, you're going to see kind of in the center, guitar match. If I turn it on there, you're going to see it, okay? And what happens here is you can use guitar match to decide to choose a different sound. Like if you have, for instance, I'm using an Ibanez with EMGs, but let's say I wanted it to sound more like a Strat or something like that. What you can do is you can set your guitar up by doing a guitar match. Now I've already done it to this guitar, but basically what you do is when you first start it, You're going to choose whether you've got, you know, a Strat style or whatever it might be. You're going to choose your pickup configuration. So mine is humbucker, single humbucker. And then what you do is you just go through and set up each one of those pickups. And once you're done, let's go back to the screen here. And once you're done, what you can do is, let's say I go to, well, I've got my Strat sitting right here. And you're going to see it says on the right-hand side, it says from Steve, because I could make more profiles if I wanted to. And then the pickup I'm going to be using, I can choose any of those. So right now I'm going to be using the neck pickup. Okay, but I want to go back out, and I don't want it on metal. I'm going to go back to that crunch plexi so you can really hear this. Okay, so now if I go back to guitar match. Okay, now I'm going to turn that off. Okay, let me get out of there for a second. So that's what my guitar normally sounds like. Turn it back on. So now it's adopting more of that Strat sound with the humbucker. And there's just a ton of things in here. Obviously, there's a Les Paul, which is a lot of fun. So again, right here, I can choose if I want to change my bridge. Maybe I'll go to the bridge pickup this time. Okay, so I'm going to get out of there and now listen to this. And you can hear a subtle difference between those. Now again, it all depends on what kind of pickups you use and what settings you're using. You know, for me, if I go to the Strat style, or I might even go to the John Mayer style here, and I would choose the neck pickup because I really like this kind of, you know, even though I'm an EMG user and Ibanez, I love these kind of. Love those kind of sounds. Okay, so anyway, that's what the tone match does, or guitar match, excuse me, is that you can turn that on and off, and you can simulate the sound of other pickups, other guitar bodies, and that sort of thing, which is really, really cool. All right, so next up we're going to be looking at the looper. It has a built-in looper, so let me show you this here. So I click on that little thing that looks like an S up on top there, right next to the beats per minute, and this pops up, and I can change the length of it, I can change the tempo, but I just want to kind of lay this down really quick for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this and just lay down some sort of a groove here. Okay, so there's one groove. Now watch this. So I can keep adding or layering more loops on top. And if I don't like any of it, I could just start back over again and make something new. Maybe I jam over that. So whatever it is you'd be interested, you could make that into whatever you want, and that is how the looper works. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move into what's called the LiveView, which is on the bottom, and this is super cool. And if you haven't seen it already, I actually have a video that I made on a MIDI pedal because I always thought it'd be great to be able to use Positive Grid at rehearsals and things, but I never had a pedal to actually switch the banks or the patches. So with this LiveView I'm going to show you right now, I can do exactly that. Now I don't have the MIDI pedal hooked up, but you can certainly watch that video if you want to. But basically what I did was this is how I pretty much create anything. I create a clean channel. You know, whatever it is I'm going to do. But I got a nice clean sound there. And then I always do a crunch next, which is the one you were just listening to. You know. right? And then I do a harder rock or metal version, which I already showed you too. And then I usually have my lead, and my lead has a little more delay and reverb, and usually it's a little bit thinner on the outsides. I drop back the bass a little bit and such, so it kind of fits into a mix nice. But it's that easy in LiveView to just simply change the ones you want, and if you hook up a MIDI pedal, you can do that with your feet. So the LiveView is just a really great addition to the Bias FX 2 mobile. All right, next up we're going to be looking at the ToneCloud. And on the mobile here, what we do is look up in the upper left-hand corner, we see that little cloud. I click on that, and what it does is it brings up various different kinds of sounds. And we have the featured sounds right here, okay, that we can go through and check. So let's say I go to Tosin here, and I click on Tosin, and I choose something from Tosin. So right now what I'm playing is whatever sound I left off with, okay? And then right now what I'm going to do is let's go to the Tosin lead here, number 2. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click on preview if you can see that. And right away I can test that out and see if I like it. And let's say I like it, but I don't want that one, right? So I go over to Tosin high gain here and click preview. Now let's just say I really like that one. Okay, so then what I can do is I can click download, select where I want to save this, and right now I'm saving everything into user 1, so I click download, and it says success, so we're going to go back out again, and let's take a look, user 1, and there it is. We can see it right here, 2C says Tosin high gain. So I've got that sound, and it's very easy to go out into the ToneCloud and just find what you're looking for. Okay, I can click on pedal board, and here I've got a bunch of different sounds that I can pull up. I can pull up different pedal boards, which is pretty cool. Let's try the Crank Plus here. That, I don't want that one. Let's try Back in Black. Let's see. So Back in Black. Okay, let's try whatever. It doesn't matter. Back in Black's fine. So I click download, select a bank, user 1, download, and now I own that as well, okay? So we can see it's right there. So you can go out there and find anything you want for sounds. That's what's great about the ToneCloud. You can explore different things until you find kind of the right one to mess with that's kind of more along the lines of what you're looking for, and then tweak it as you need to. All right, so let's say you're in Bias FX 2 mobile, and you're missing something. You would like to own a certain pedal or a certain kind of effect or whatever it might be. What you can do is you can head out to, well, let me show you this first here. So we're going to go to, let's go to add, and let me just run through these. So you can see I've got a number of noise gates here. I've got compressors, and some of the new stuff in Bias FX 2 mobile is I've got these racks. You know, there's a lot of rack effects that I've got now inside here that I can mess with, okay? But let's say I'm missing something that I really, really want. What I can do is I can go up in the upper right, and you can see that little cart. I can click on that, and this is where you can purchase different kinds of effects. So let's say I'm just going to click on Elite here, learn more, okay? And right here it shows me all the packs that come with Elite, all the effects that come with Elite, all the amps, everything like that, okay? And I can purchase that. Or what I can do, okay? Let's say I didn't want that. Maybe I just want the professional version. I want to see that. So that shows me what I've got here, or the standard version. Okay? So if I go over here on the top, you can see I clicked on expansions. Now I can add more modelers or studio processors or whatever it might be that kind of pleases me. But let's say I don't want a whole expansion pack. I just want a certain effect. Well, I can come over here and just buy a certain amp or a certain effect that maybe I really want. Okay? So what's great about this is now you have the availability of being able to go out and find different effects or different pedals or different amps or whatever it is that you might be interested in to add to your Bias FX 2 mobile. So needless to say, if you've been following me for a while, you know I use a lot of the positive grid stuff. I love the tones that come with it. The one thing that was really frustrating for me is I couldn't figure out how to use it in a rehearsal situation. I don't know that I would use it live. I don't know. But certainly for a rehearsal, it'd be great to be able to pull up with my iPad and a pedal and plug in and go. And now that I have that MIDI controller and this has LiveView set right in it, I'm ready to go, and I can do rehearsals with this now. Just run right into the PA or whatever it might be. And And so it's really awesome. I'm glad they brought all of this together. The loop feature is really, really cool for practicing different kinds of things. Of course, it has a tuner built in, you know, just different kinds of things like that. And of course, having the guitar match. I think some people are really going to enjoy the fact of being able to try out different guitars without actually having to own that guitar or own those pickups or whatever it might be. So if you get a chance, there's going to be a link around here somewhere, probably in the description, that you can check this out and see if it's something you might be interested in. So take care, stay positive, and I'll talk to you soon.